How we doing, everybody? Okay, we're back. I know I saw this movie. I actually saw this movie in Atlanta. We're here to talk about John Wick, Chapter 4. So yeah, we're up to number 4 now. So I see again. I saw this in Atlanta, so I wasn't able to do a review video. So I'm coming into this a little bit late. But I do want to talk about it. I know a lot of people really liked it, and I am one of those people. Although I do have some caveats with that. So the entire team basically comes back again. So the writing team, the stunt team, which, I think the director is a second unit director for the most part, that then decided that they were going to team up with Keanu Reeves and do basically take action to a new level, where the movie was basically about the action more than it was any kind of plot. And we get that again with this film, where it's really all about an action. It's almost like a video game where you have story that's just connecting action pieces together. And that's how this whole franchise has been from the very beginning. So we have Keanu Reeves' character, John Wick, who originally in the first movie lost his wife, and they killed his dog that his wife gave him, which created a whole vengeance thing, but was originally an assassin. And he picks up his old ways and returns to being an assassin, with the famous line, "So are you back, John?" "Yeah, I'm thinking I am." Almost what is. It's funny that Keanu Reeves has never really done a Western, because he has that Western speech and mannerism that he does with this film and with this whole franchise. Really, he's almost like a cowboy. So, but they were able to build this entire assassin world, which that I find very impressive, because I was not a fan of the first film. The second film, where they did the world building, I kind of got into it. And then the third film. So each one of these films is almost like Fast and the Furious, where they keep upping their game to the point where it gets a little ludicrous, and then they have to just, no pun intended, and then they have to just bring it back a little bit. So if they do a fifth one, I think they're going to bring it back a little bit, because I think they just went a little bit too far with this one. There's no way that John Wick would survive most of the stuff going on. I mean, he gets hit by so many cars. At the end of the last one, if you saw the last one, he was shot and thrown off a building. I think it was like 5 stories he fell. And here he falls, several stories, lands on a truck, and he's, just walks out of it. So even if his suit is bulletproof, it doesn't really keep him safe from falls. I don't know. And even, cops that get shot with Kevlar vests, they don't just, pull up their hand and the bullets hit and they just, nothing happens. No, the wind gets knocked out of them. They end up getting heavily bruised and things to that effect. So it's, it's kind of pushed the envelope for the fact that it's beyond belief in a lot of places. But the last one with Halle Berry, they had this dog scene, and I've never seen anything like it in my life, and I probably will never again. I mean, that was amazing. And of course, they have, so each film kind of has that one thing that just blows everything else out of the water. And this one, they have this above scene where they have the camera kind of mounted above the set. They must have had a massive set, because the thing just kept going around. And people were just kind of popping up. And then he had this shotgun that, shot like an incendiary bullet. And so it was like body burn, which is exactly, I'm sure, how they planned it. And they said, how many guys can we pull in that have done body burns before? And so people are on fire, and he's running around, and we're seeing all this from the top. And it's real time. I didn't really see many cuts. But so they were kind of doing it all in one take, which is amazing, because if anybody messes up, there were a few cuts here and there, But even if you're trying to go for an entire minute and hitting everybody's mark, and it's not like you're just messing up a line, you're messing up, bullets and having to reset clothing and all this stuff. So it's taking forever. In fact, this movie went up to $100 million budget. Not that they're having any problem with that. I think they're already up to 250 as it is. I mean, they're pretty much right there already. So they're not going to have any problem making their money back. And so this one, the cast kind of elongates a little bit more, where they're adding in characters that kind of go on this journey with him and against him. So we have a new villain, and we have all the other heroes kind of returning. And we kind of have those guys kind of in the middle. So Lawrence Fishburne returns as the king. He's always very good. In fact, I just saw a movie where he played a gangster was when he was very young. And he was great in that back then. I think that was probably the 80s or early 90s at the earliest. Him and Eli Roth, really, really good stuff. So, I mean, he's just very talented no matter what he does. I saw a one-man show with him where he was playing a black judge early on in, I think it was the 50s or something to that effect. And he was really good in that, too. Then we have Lance Reddick. He came back. And they called him Charon, but I didn't realize it was spelt like Charon. So Charon is the Greek boatman of the dead. I never realized that his name was based on that. So one of the villains that wasn't fleshed out at all was Clancy Brown's character. Love Clancy Brown. His voice is obviously extremely iconic. He played the voice of Lex Luthor in the Superman series in the 90s. I think it's early up to the early 2000s. And he's always good. He's fun to watch. And Ian McShane, the same thing. I mean, all these guys are getting older. But Ian McShane just jumps right back into that character again. One of my favorite stuff with him was Deadwood. I thought he did a great job in Deadwood. And so we now about the girl from the Dungeons and Dragons who came from It. And then we have Bill Skarsgård in this. And he played, Pennywise from It. So it's funny that we have two of those characters from those, or actors from those movies in two movies that are out at the same time. The standout addition to this film is Donnie Yen. And again, he's playing a blind guy. At least he didn't say, "The Force is with me." What was his famous line? I got the famous line, but from Rogue One. So I'm with the Force, and the Force is with me, or whatever. Yeah. So again, he plays a blind guy, but this character, I feel, is a lot more fleshed out than his one with Rogue One. He is really, really good. Every scene, he's fighting, even though he's getting older, his fighting's still great. And he's got the biggest dilemma, the character with the biggest dilemma in the entire film. I don't think this is really a spoiler, but of course they're threatening his family, and he and John Wick have an old friendship, and they're pitting them against one another. If not, they're gonna kill his daughter. So he really has no choice. So I felt for the guy. He didn't want to do what he was doing. And again, that just made the character more powerful. So he's a blind guy with an amazing fighter, and almost like a Daredevil type situation. And on top of that, he doesn't want to be there at all, but he's being forced into it. And I can't even get this guy's name right, so I'm just going to call him Hiro Sanada, who's, again, he's iconic. He was also in that Mortal Kombat movie, and he does a really good job too. That scene in Japan or whatever, the cinematography is just over the top with this one. I mean, the cinematographer, the DP did an amazing, amazing job. Even if you see the stills from the film, the lighting on it is just amazing. I mean, you're just staring at these visuals before the action even starts. And you're just like, wow, this is beautiful. That guy just went above and beyond. He did a great job. Even if you don't like it for the action, the visuals are phenomenal. The set pieces they used, the parts of the world that they used, just amazing stuff. I mean, just the sets and the backdrops are worth seeing for the film. But then we have Mr. Nobody, Shamir Anderson. I don't know much about him. But he was good. He played Mr. Nobody. And, of course, we have to have a dog in this one. He's the guy with the dog in this. We always have to have – John Wick's always got to have dogs in the movie. And I also thought one of the standout characters, she played Akira. Not that that's an original name. But the actress's name is Rina Sawayama. And I guess this is her breakout role. She's never done any acting whatsoever. She is a pop. In fact, I haven't listened to any of her music, but she's a pop music singer. So this was her first film ever. And she did a great job, not only acting, but some of the fight scenes that she was in was phenomenal. I'm sure she didn't do a lot of her own stuff, but there was like a jumping scene that she did, unless they put her face on somebody else's body, which is not unusual nowadays. But if it was her, I mean, you saw her face when she did the whole jump. It wasn't like it was a stunt double. And if it was, then it was a face replacement. But she did a really, really good. This was her first role. She did an amazing job. Her character was very memorable. So here's my positives with John Wick. Of course, you know what you're getting going into it, right? You're getting superb action sequences with some story thrown in the middle. And that's what you're getting. But sometimes they draw this stuff out too long. So it was like almost a 3-hour film. What I wanted to see was the hour-and-a-half version of that. I thought that a lot of the action was just drawn out way too long. How many times can we see him shoot and do a takedown over and over and over? I mean, it becomes like a video game where the bad guys are just coming in and coming in and coming in, and you're just like, when is this scene going to end? And then there's a scene right before the end. I do like how they did the ending. I do. I thought it was going to be a little bit different, a la the Hunger Games, but they didn't do that. But there's a scene leading up to the ending. I think that could have been removed completely. It kind of got a little bit silly at times. There, in fact, I heard everybody in the theater even groan at times. So like, come on. And Bill Skarsgård did a great job as the villain. It wasn't a whole lot of development for him, but his motivation, was pretty obvious. It was just, greed and power. So I thought he got taken a little bit. He came off a little stupid at the end. That he kind of fell for it. But visually it's great. They do a scene that's like in traffic, where people are getting hit by cars all over the place, and they're shooting around it, and good stuff. I mean, these guys know how to push the envelope. I think they just went a little bit too far and a little bit too long, where it got I think the word is monotonous. So it got each scene got a little bit monotonous. So if they had cut it early, where this movie came out to an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes, I think it would have flowed a lot better. But every character had their own little arc, and each one of them was there for a reason, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm gonna see the film again just purely because the action is just over the top. But yeah, in fact, I'm going to give this film also like a 7 to a 7.5. Again, really enjoyed it. Just seeing the action and seeing Keanu Reeves, who's pretty much my age. I mean, I couldn't do, I couldn't do what he's doing. I mean, the guy's amazing, bow-legged and all. You see him rolling up you tell he's like completely bow-legged. But yeah, good addition to it. Are they going to continue it? Financially, yes, because it did financially. It's still doing extremely well. We'll see what happens when Mario comes out. Dungeons and Dragons did beat it this week, but yeah, they're definitely going to make money. So they probably will continue it, even though they kind of ended it. So we'll see. Also, there is a post-credit scene that I think a lot of people missed. Because I saw some comments and other reviews that said, "Oh, I wonder what happened here." Well, it actually is in the post-credit sequence, so you'll be able to see it there. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Also, just a update on everything that's going on. Lords of LA, the third issue. That's basically the second issue because I have 1 and 2 combined, and then 3 and 4 is combined, so it's got a little bit of a longer reading time. So, yeah, I'm going to be launching the Kickstarter on that very soon. The next Kickstarter I'm doing is really in 2 weeks with the audiobook for Destiny Aurora, which is really exciting. I'm waiting to see what everybody thinks of that. I listened to it a few times myself. I thoroughly enjoy it. So the actors did a really good job of maintaining the characters and things to that effect. So just look for that in a couple of weeks. I'm just waiting for the video to get done, and I'll be able to launch that and some of the marketing stuff. I think Wes from Thinking Critical is going to help me with that, so I'm going to put a link if you like comics. He does a really great channel, so I'm going to put a link to that in the description as well as a link for Destiny. Lords #1. If you haven't gotten that, I'll put a link there so you can kind of purchase that. And so I got the books for Tales of Ravrador coming in from Amazon, and we'll see what they look like, and if so, then I'll be able to fulfill shortly from the printer. So anyway, that's it, guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, and give me some comments if you've seen the film, if you liked it, if you didn't, or etc. And just do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great week, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. All right, bye-bye.